So I'm going to go over quick what I put in my first aid kits, and I'm always dynamically changing these things as I figure out better equipment and new tactics. Now this is the disposable glove holder. So this is a disposable glove holder, quick way to dispense disposable gloves. So I keep the disposable gloves in here in a sealed package. This is an optional add-on, the disposable glove holder made by 511 mole, so it'll clip on to anything with the mole webbing. All right, so we're going to go through a few of the items real quick. So obviously we have our trauma shears and our tweezers. Tweezers are not just for beauty, it's for getting out small items, small shards, glass, etc. out of a wound. We have our Mylar blanket, and again, saran wrap can also be used for keeping you warm. You can wrap yourself in it. It's quite effective at retaining body heat. We have a bunch of band-aids, different sizes. We have adhesive medical tape, athletic tape, and of course zip ties, plenty of zip ties. So I carry a tourniquet in mine, in my first aid kit. If you don't know how to use a tourniquet, you don't want to use one. You don't want to learn how to use one in the field. If you know how to use a tourniquet, then add a tourniquet. You can use zip ties, not quite as effectively as a tourniquet, but it does have some medical uses. You can use it as a splint to tie a solid object around a wound. Some people say you can use them as tourniquets. I've never trained in that. I can't vouch, say if it's true or not. But if someone is in a life or death situation and you can go up from the wound because they won't stop bleeding, that might be an option. But I have something better that you should try first. We have our antibiotic ointment, obviously hand sanitizer, which is quite prized these days. Disposable gloves. We have the gauze. It's a cover sponge and quick clotting sponge. So quick clot used to be a powder. Now it's a sponge. It's a lot safer. It doesn't have that risk of burning like the old powder did. And what you want to do is take it out of the package. It's sterile, and use it right over the wound. Apply pressure. You could use the adhesive tape. You could use the bandage, or you could even use potentially a tourniquet over the bandage. I wouldn't recommend that. But this is what you want to use one of your first resorts. Put that directly on the wound, and it helps with the blood clotting. The cover sponges, very absorbent. That's pretty obvious for wounds, for deep lacerations. Now honey, why do I have honey? Honey sticks, and yours might come with sticks, it might come with a different style of honey, but I like honey because it has antimicrobial properties. It really never goes bad. If someone is in like a diabetic shock because they have very low blood sugar, honey has a pretty high sugar content, pretty high in the glycemic index, so that can bring them back into consciousness if they're going in and out of consciousness because they're low on blood sugar. Burt's Bees, great for blisters, great for little wounds, obviously lips, but has a ton of other uses, and that's my favorite, chapstick. Burt's Bees, supposedly you can even use it to start fires. Alcohol is flammable too. You could use that to start a fire in emergency, but that's not what this kit is for. The emergency supplies for first aid is what we're using in here. The bug out kits that have the fire starters, numerous types, that would be in any other kit. This complements it. This triangular bandage is a sling, goes over your shoulder, and that would be used in conjunction with a splint. And the splint that I like is this combat splint. And on here is some pretty useful little tools. So you have your measurements here, starting from 1 to 18, and then you can curve this splint as you need. And it shows you, right on the splint what you can do with it. So how to splint an arm, how to splint a knee or a leg, finger or foot. So what you do is you fashion it roughly into the shape that you need, and it forms a supportive structure, and then you can tie it with the adhesive tape. You could use zip ties, just not too tight, the bandage. So that could be great if the person's got an arm injury. You'd put it here and then you'd splint their arm, so it would reduce movement. It's very rigid. It's hard to bend in the middle like that. So this combat splint stays in here and it's reusable. So you straighten it out and then you just roll it tightly, as tightly as you can. And the other option was this rigid patch. These are not reusable, but it does get pretty hard and you can make a makeshift cast. So over here we have more bandages, an iPad, not an iPad, we have an iPad, Neosporin, triple antibiotic with pain relief, compressed gauze, and then we have Advil, so it's ibuprofen, pain reliever, fever reducer, and tea tree oil. I use tea tree oil a lot. It really helps with bug bites, and supposedly it can even help prevent them in the first place from mosquitoes, but it does provide pretty quick relief if you get a bug bite. We have everything in here. It's easily visible. You can add, using your label maker, what you want each package to be. So, pain relief, antibiotic, honey. You don't really need to do that because everything is visible. So when I roll it up, so you can carry it, on your pack, make it a roll-up pack on top of your go bag. You can keep it just at your house. You don't have to use the carabiner clip, but if you want to attach it to mole or something else, great idea to just keep it available and ready. So this is a first aid roll-up kit for that I sell, and it might be improving as I go along and find new and better ways to make these things. But for now, thank you for watching, and let me know what comments you have.